name is Hideout, and we're getting into the hunt now. You know, there's lots of horrible things around, and we're going to slash them into small pieces. Or at least we're going to consume the flesh of them. Especially as we're a werewolf. We're Tovolar, Dire Overlord. 3 mana for a 3/3 human werewolf. And whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Now that's pretty goddamn good. Triggers for every single one. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves and or werewolves, it becomes night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. So the whole day-bound, night-bound thing, if you cast 2 cards in a turn, or a player does, it goes to night. And then if you cast no cards, it flips back, or it's one of those. I can't really remember exactly which way around it is. But this is the day side, and then on night, we've got the midnight Scourge. It's a werewolf, and whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So nothing changes there. It's exactly what we want to see. And pay X and a red and a green. Target wolf or werewolf you control gets plus X+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Now that looks quite similar, doesn't it, to a land from Innistrad's past. And this is Nightbound Sound. It's a 4/4. So this is a really cool commander. We've been wanting a werewolf commander for quite a while, and this fits the itch, doesn't it? It does exactly what you want. It transforms everything, and it draws you cards to keep you chaining through. I have to say, werewolves aren't the best, but the direction I'm going to take it, this also works with wolves. So, you know, you can play a mixture of the two. So it's a double tribal deck. And if you like these sort of videos, please do subscribe to my channel. I'm going to make one of these for every card from Midnight Hunt, at least it's a legendary creature and can be your commander. So come and join me, and then we're going to do every card ever. So without further ado, let's have a look at Tovolar's top 5. And in at number 5, well, I said about wolves, let's make a whole ton of them with Wolfbriar Elemental. 4 mana for a 4/4 elemental. It's got multi-kicker for a green, so you can pay the green over and over again as you cast this. When it enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token for each time it was kicked. So that means we've got a ton of wolves that can get in there, deal damage to our opponents, and then we can draw lots and lots of cards. And, you know, if you've got a lot of green and red hanging around and your commander's flipped into the night side, you can keep playing the green and black on each of these to give them tramples. They trample over any little tokens. You don't even have to pump any mana into the X. You can just activate it to give them trample, which is quite a cool little include. Then, if we're making lots of wolves, we've got Wolfcaller's Howl. 4 mana for an enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. Create X 2/2 green wolf creature tokens, where X is the number of your opponents, with 4 or more cards in hand. Now, people like drawing cards. You know, it's pretty reliable that people are going to draw tons of cards. And in this deck, we're not going to be stripping resources out of people's hands that much, unless you want to build it that way. But I wouldn't. Green and red, not that good at that sort of thing. But this is fantastic and can create 3 wolves every single turn. So we're going to have tons of wolves to slam in there. Then we've got the Ferocious Pup. Ah, look at the cute little guy. 3 mana for a 0/1. So you're going to have to buff its power, you know, somehow, maybe with a Lord or something like that, to be able to deal damage with this. But when it enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. So its mum comes along to sort of like protect it and go, ah, don't you attack my son. He's better than you. And things like that. Then, Kessie Cage Breakers. A fantastic card. I love putting this in any of my cycling decks. There's no cycling cards in this video though, so, you know, lucky for you. 5 mana for a 3/4. When it attacks, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token that's tapped and attacking for each creature card in your graveyard. So if you've been milled, if you've just, the game's gone long, this can put tons of wolves into play that are already attacking, so you could potentially draw tons of cards from your commander. Then, brand new card here in Arlen the Pack's Hope. 4 mana for a 4 loyalty planeswalker. It's daybound, so if a player casts no spells during their own turn, it becomes night next turn. So I got it the wrong way round. Oops, my bad. But this is +1 until your next turn. You may cast creature spells as though they had flash, and each creature they control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. So that's pretty good. And then -3 creates 2 2/2 green wolf tokens. So tons of wolves. And that plus is really good. You know, allows you to cast at instant speed. You can just sort of like flash your commander in there, really surprise someone, and they go, ooh, what a disaster. Then you go to your upkeep. Then there's Rangers class, which is a slightly different take on the Wolf here. It's a 2-mana enchantment. Enters, you get a 2/2 Wolf. Pay 2 to level it up, only at sorcery speed. Whenever you attack, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature. So that's pretty good. Put it on, whatever your biggest threat is. Maybe your commander, you want to go big into, getting your commander massive. Then when he flips, you can buff him and give him, trample and things like that. Then 4 mana for level 3. You may look at the top card of your library any time. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. That's just great for digging through your deck. It's always great to be able to, have a secret little card up there and you just cast it. And if you've +1 with Arlen, you can do it at instant speed. Cast off the top of your deck at instant speed. Then there's Wolf Willow Haven, 2 mana for an aura that enchants a land. Whenever the land is tapped for mana, its control adds an additional green. And you can pay 5 to sacrifice it, create a 2/2 wolf creature token, activate the ability only during your turn. So this is really nice. I always like to try and include things that, yes, you need to have ramp. Always be putting ramp in your deck. But this fits into the theme of the deck because, late game you can have a wolf that can maybe draw you a card when it attacks. So that's a cool little include there. And here at number 4, well, we've got werewolves. Huntmaster of the Fells is the actual epitome of werewolves. It's so good. Human werewolf, whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Huntmaster of Fells, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token into the battlefield and you gain 2 life. So again, making yourself a little wolf, you could play around with, throw him up in the air and go, ah, and all sorts of things, maybe throw a bone for him. And at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform Huntmaster of the Fells. So these old werewolves work slightly differently. The new ones only care about a single player casting 2 spells or a single player casting no spells. So your opponent can't sort of like flash something in to disrupt the flipping and things. But these care about every player. So be aware of that when you're playing them. It flips into Ravager of the Fells, which is a 4/4 werewolf with trample. Whenever this creature transforms into Ravager of the Fells, it deals 2 damage to target opponent and 2 damage to up to 1 target creature that player controls. So, your opponent's playing in a Zami deck, 0/2, ping, you're done. Absolutely fantastic. Beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Ravager of the Fells. Really nice. Then Ulrich of the Krallen Horde. 5 mana for a 4/4 human werewolf. This used to be the werewolf commander, and this new one's much better in every way. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms, target creature gets +4 until end of turn. Sort of alright. I mean, with our commander flipped, we can give something trample, so get that +4/+4 gives trample, which is nice. Then flip it into Ulrich, uncontested alpha, big burly man. 6 mana, whenever this creature transforms into Ulrich Uncontested Alpha, you may have it fight target non-wolf werewolf creature you don't control. So, nice bit of removal. This card, it just does a couple of things that are quite nice. It's alright. And then, here's another one. Sage of Ancient Law, 5 mana for a star human shaman werewolf. Look at that creature type, just keeps going. Its power and toughness each equal to the number of cards in your hand, which is going to be quite large because we're attacking with all these little wolves and werewolves. We're going to be drawing cards, and when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So it replaces itself in your hand. Really nice. And at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform Sage of Ancient Law into Werewolf of Ancient Hunger. Look at him with his big shiny hands. Vigilance and Trample, which is really good. It doesn't, just gets damage in there. And its power and toughness are each equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands. That is incredible. If anyone knows 6 mana Multani, the one that has Shroud, this is a house. It's going to be absolutely enormous. We're going to have like 7-8 cards in our hands. Each of our opponents, this will be a 20/20 easily. And it's got Vigilance and Trample, so it's good on defense or offense. Absolutely phenomenal. And then this isn't a werewolf, but it's a werewolf lord. Nightpack Ambusher, 4 mana for a 4/4 with flash. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a spell this turn, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. So that's really nice, if you're wanting to maybe flip everything one way or the other. This, you can just leave it up. You get a little wolf that's like a nice 3/3, and all of your werewolves get buffed. So really nice card to have. Brings me on to my number 3 pick. And at number 3, well, there's ways to flip cards. And, a lot of our werewolves, or I think all of them actually, are humans. So Moon Mist is a phenomenal card. And the artwork, look at it. It just looks so atmospheric. 2 mana for an instant. Transform all humans. So we flip them into whatever side they aren't. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures other than werewolves and wolves. So if you engineer this, so your opponents are attacking into all of your humans, you're going, oh no, then the moon comes out and you go, and you flop all of your werewolves and wolves onto the field. This can be a one-sided board wipe. It's such a great blower. It's an interesting fog sort of take, and it just works amazingly in the deck. Similarly, we've got Wolf, 3 mana for a 2/2 with Intimidate, so it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and/or creatures that share a colour with it, so red and green. And then other wolf and werewolf creatures you control get Swamp Swan, so nice buff there. And non-human werewolves you control can't transform, so once they've flipped into the good side, so our commander's 4/4 side with the Kessie Wolfrun effect, they cannot flip back, which is just amazing. I've always been a bit skeptical of this artwork. It looks, I don't know, it's just a bit cartoony. It doesn't fit in Innistrad style. I really like it, but it's just a bit weird. Therese Nielsen for you there. Cult of Waxing Moon is another cool card with all the flip shenanigans we've got going on. 5 mana for a 5/4. Whenever a permanent you control transforms into a non-human creature, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. So with all the toing and froing that we've got going on, we're going to get quite a few wolves from this. Really, really nice card. It's sadly not a werewolf or wolf itself, but, you know, it's a nice friend, and it looks like it's got a wolf down at the bottom of the artwork. For a second there, I thought that looked like a pig, but it's a wolf. I was going to say pig. Then we got Full Moon's Rise, 2 mana for an enchantment. Werewolf creatures you control get Swamp Swan and have trample, so great for getting in there and drawing cards from our commander's ability. Sacrifice Full Moon's Rise, regenerates all werewolf creatures you control. Absolutely fantastic. You know, if someone's playing not Wrath of God or Damnation, what's the 4 mana? I don't know. Playing a Cleansing or something like that. We can regenerate that from being destroyed. You know, we can stop it, go, no. My werewolves survive this night. Then we've got Gaia Reach Bandit. 3 mana for a 3/2 with haste. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells are cast, transform it into Vilden? Pack Alpha Vilden? I think that is. I don't know. The werewolf, and whenever a werewolf enters the battlefield under your control, you may transform it. So anything that you play after this just flips straight into the good side. Amazing. Really, really good. And, you know, it can flip back if 2 spells are cast. Then our commander has Kessie Wolfrun on it, but we want to put this land into the deck because just look at it. It's fantastic. I love the artwork. You know, that little werewolf just sort of chilling like, oh, what's going on over here, lads? And, you know, coming in to murder everyone. Attach for a colourless, a red and a green, and X. Tap, target creature gets +X+0 against trample until end of turn. Exactly what our commander does. But our commander doesn't have to tap, so we can do it over and over again. Which brings me on to my number 2 pick. And at number 2, well, we've got ways to get through with all of our creatures because our commander only cares about us dealing combat damage to an opponent. And things like Siege Behemoth, 7 mana for a 7/4 with Hexproof. As long as it is attacking for each creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Is incredible in the deck. So we swing in with all our 2/2s and then everyone blocks. But if this is blocking, is attacking, all of our creatures are going to deal our damage to opponents. We're just going to draw an absolute raft of cards. Yes, we'll lose some wolves along the way, but the true might of our deck will come back because we've just drawn 28 cards. So this card is phenomenal in the deck. Yes, it isn't a werewolf, but it's a beast and it looks a bit feral. So, you know, it's going to be digging up and, you know, chewing bones and stuff like that. So it's quite a good card. Then we've got Ruxa, Ancient Professor. 4 mana for a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, return target creature card with no abilities from your graveyard to your hand. Now, that is not really going to do anything in this deck. I mean, there are a couple of maybe wolves. I don't know. I don't think there are any wolves that have no text. And why you put them in the deck? But creatures you control with no abilities get +1/+1. So with all of those wolf tokens we were making, they're just generic creatures with no rules text. So all of our tokens are going to get +1/+1. And you may have creatures you control with no abilities assign their commanders as though they weren't blocked. So all of our wolves with no abilities are going to be buffed and getting in there for damage that can't be prevented by our opponents. They can't block it, and we're going to draw a ton of cards from our commander. Then look at this wolf. I've always loved this artwork. That little wolf's head going, ooh, yeah, right. Pyreheart Wolf is a 3 mana 1/1. Whenever it attacks, each other creature you control gets menace, basically. It's just old wording for menace. So they can't be blocked by 2 or more creatures. No, they must be blocked by 2 or more creatures. And it's got Undying, so when it dies, it comes back with a 1/1 counter on it. Really, really great. Yes, even if we lose this in combat, we can use it again because it comes back. Fantastic bit of evasion. Then we've got Subira Tulzidi Caravana. 3 mana for a 2/3 human shaman with haste. Pay 1, another target creature you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. So this is, again, leaning into all of our wolf tokens that are all 2/2s. We can give all of them unblockable and then just swing in, draw a ton of cards. And then pay 2, tap, discard your hand. Till end of turn, whenever a creature you control with power 2 or less deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So another great way of getting in for tons of damage, getting a load of cards. Even if our commander's being killed, all of our walls are going to draw us loads of cards. Which brings me on to my number 1 pick. And at number 1, we've got Grenzo Havoc Razor. 2 mana for a 2/2. And this leans into all of the things I've just been talking about. Getting in with those tokens and just generating advantage from dealing combat damage. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose 1. Go target creature that player controls, so we can just turn everyone against each other. Just say, right, just, have a fight by yourself. I'm going to sit over here with all my wolves, stroking their manes, and kill everyone. Or exile a top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any colour to cast it. So, amazing way of generating value. Just another way of drawing cards, really, and we can play the best cards off our opponent's deck. Amazing card, 2 mana. Oh, amazing. If only this was a werewolf. Then we've got Tosky, Bearer of Secrets. 4 mana for a 1/1. The spell can't be countered. Indestructible. And it attacks each combat if able. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to player, draw a card. So it's just a bit of redundancy. Another effect like our commanders. This works phenomenally in the deck. Then, if we've got one big creature, we can give something trample using our commander's green-red ability. Hunter's Insight is amazing. 3 mana for an instant. Choose target creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker this turn, draw that many cards. So, we just, someone doesn't block one of our 2/2s. We pump 18 mana into it with a Kessie Wolf Run effect. And then we cast this, so we draw, about 20 cards. That's pretty goddamn good and, can generate a ton of value. It's a real big blowout play as well. Then there's Oren Frostbang. 5 mana for a 2 sinks. 2 sinks? He's got 2 sinks in his bathroom. Why do you need 2 sinks? Attacking creature you control have Death Touch, so that is great. It's another form of sort of unblockability because if your opponents want to, block our crappy little wolves, well, their creatures are going to die. So are they going to really want to block it? And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to play, draw a card. So a nice bit of redundancy. Our commander's ability right there. And then all of our wolves are going to be drawing 2 cards. If we've got Tosky on the field, all of our wolves are going to draw 3 cards. Absolutely phenomenal. And those are my top 5 cards for this brand new commander. Obviously, when I'm filming this, there's, not all of the werewolves have been spoiled, so I'll put all of those cool werewolves in. But I think this is a good foundation for an interesting deck. And you're going to draw tons of cards, and who doesn't love drawing cards? So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Like, comment, subscribe.